Hi there YouTube, this is Daniel back again with another YouTube video, and this time I'm gonna try to make a review out of Scalped Volume 1, the Deluxe Edition. And the entire series is collected in 5 of these volumes, or 10 regular sized trade paperbacks, and I think they're gonna reprint this series into a thicker style trade paperback, basically collecting the same amount of issues but in a trade format instead of this hardcover. It's written by Jason Aaron and drawn by R.M. Guerra, and it collects 11 issues, and it's the second work Jason Aaron did at Vertigo, following up his first debut miniseries called The Other Side, which will get a reprint at Image with a deluxe edition, I think, in July or something like that. I think I read a solicitation like that. What about the book? Let's flip the camera around and see what it's about. So I took the liberty to remove the dust jacket of the book, and you can see that there is this wraparound artwork printed onto the hardcover itself, which is a nice touch. And right off the start, you have this introduction to the series by Brian K. Vaughan, actually, which is a nice touch. I usually read these introductions because it's always nice to see what other creators think of other creators' work. And right off the bat, we get introduced to our protagonist, so to say, Dashiell Dash Bad Horse, who is basically a troublemaker and has always been one. He grew up on the Prairie Rose Indian Reservation into a life of utter hopelessness and extreme poverty, so to say. And to him, his only choice basically was to run away, and run away as fast or far away as he could, in search of something better, and hopefully find some purpose in life. But that was 15 years ago, and basically he didn't really run away. He was sent away by his mother, and he kind of resents her for that, because she basically uprooted him from everything he knew back then. But Dash has come back to this, to the res, as they refer to it, armed with a set of nunchucks, and reckless and determined, with a bad attitude. And he has returned home to find that basically nothing has changed on the reservation, and he kind of carries a secret with him, and that's basically somewhat revealed at the end of the first issue. And I won't say what that is, because that will spoil the whole thing with that twist to the story. And but what he finds is that nothing has really changed much, except for the possibility or a possibility of a future casino on the reservation. And that's something that people struggle with here on the reservation, because the once proud people now struggle with organized crime, rampant poverty and drug addiction, and also alcoholism, and local politics, and the preservation of their cultural identity is all basically threatened by this new Crazy Horse Casino. Or it could also be their salvation, so to say, because that will bring in more money to the reservation for everyone to take part of, if you are have a lineage connected to the Oglala tribe. And well, that's basically what the story is going to be about. There's a lot of more facets to the story, but I think that's part of discovery when you read the book, so I won't go into those. But there's a nice cast of characters, and the main ones in this book, at least, are Dashiell Bad Horse, and he is basically somewhat haunted by the history or his past, and he's very angry and really determined to do something now that he's back. And then you have Lincoln Red Crow, our antagonist, so to say, and he is the president of the Oglala Tribal Council and chief or sheriff of the tribal police force, and a former member also of a Native American rights movement, and he's trying to clean up the reservation's public image before the grand opening of the Crazy Horse Casino to get more investors to this casino, I guess. And there's also the FBI special agent in charge, Baylis Earl Nitz, who is trying to find evidence linking Red Crow to a murder of 2 FBI agents over 30 years ago, during Red Crow's time as a leader of a Native American rights movement, together with Dashiell's estranged mother, Gina Bad Horse. And there's a lot of things going on in this book, as I mentioned, and so what you're left with is basically why is Dashiell's back? So is he there to set things right, or just get a piece of the action, basically? So it's a very thrilling read and very violent and gritty read, and I really do like it. And the artwork, as you might have noticed, the artwork by R.M. Guerra in this book is a bit rough and dark, but it fits the story by Jason Aaron well. And it's, even though it's dark and gritty and violent, the artwork really helps drive the story home for me with its suitable noirish style. And the coloring is quite muted, and there's a lot of earth tones to the coloring, which also basically help deliver the gritty feel to the book. Great stuff. And at the back here you get some covers by Jock, and I am a big fan of his artwork, so this is a nice big bonus for me. And then you get the script for issue 1 of the series as an extra material piece back at the back of the book. And then it ends with the creator bios. So, my final thoughts about this book. It's a very gritty, street-level crime drama. It kind of feels and reads like it could have been a HBO crime drama like The Wire or Sopranos maybe. And the characters that Jason Aaron has created here feels real, and they are fleshed out. And the setting, the backdrop of this Indian reservation, it's a fictional one, the Prairie Rose Indian Reservation, but it feels real, and it seems like Jason Aaron has done a lot of research before writing this series. And you might think that the story is taking you somewhere, and it kind of takes a couple of issues for the book to find its footing. And you might think that you know what's going on at first glance, but things kind of get turned on its head quite frequently throughout the story, and you might think that you know what the character is going to be about, and not everyone are what they say they are or seem to be, which is really nice. It adds to the thrill of reading this book. The story is told somewhat out of sequence, through flashbacks and at its heart, it's basically a story about a murder or a couple of murders committed about 30 years ago, and how it has or just hasn't just affected the lives of those involved, but also a lot more people around the reservation as well. And through this, Jason Aaron builds each of the characters' backstory and what motivates them. And soon we kind of realize that there's no real black or white or right or wrong, and the story is a lot more complex than it appears to be. And yeah, there's quite a lot of sex and violence in this book, graphic violence, as this is a book for mature readers. But that's not really what stands out about the book or its characters. What stands out about it for me is that there's things you might think you know about characters in the book, but then you get new information through reading the book that makes you kind of question your own thoughts about a character. Once you think you have made up your mind about it, you get new information that kind of turns that upside down, or at least tweaks it somewhat, and you might kind of start liking a character which you kind of didn't do before you got that tiny piece of information or whatnot about this character's background and such. And I think that's a great storytelling device that Jason Aaron here uses very effectively. So those are my final thoughts about this book, and I really enjoyed reading this, and I am looking forward to reading the rest of the series soon. But have you read this book, or did you find this helpful in deciding if you want to read this book in the future? Just let me know in the comment section, and let's have a discussion about the book down there. Until next time, have a great week of reading, and bye bye.